Welcome everyone to Podcast 69 South, where we cuss and discuss true crime, cold cases, current events, and hot topics, along with our state of society today. This is your trigger warning. Our podcast content is produced for adult listeners 18 years of age and older. We discuss situations that may be offensive and triggering to some listeners. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back, everybody, to 69 South. I hope you had a good time since the last time. I am your host, Chop, for this episode, and with me always is the Queen of Chaos, Julie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's me. I'm here. How are you today?
Lovely, lovely. This is going to be the last part of the Quartet.
The Hancock County Quartet, and I suggest if you have children that are present, you shut this off immediately until you have time to yourself to listen, because this is not for kids' ears.
And look, folks, we do have a disclaimer at the start of our show, and we don't enjoy report on a lot of this stuff, but this stuff needs to be reported. Parents need to be vigilant about your children, especially their electronics, anything they're doing, who they're around, and if we dummy it up as much as we can, but the fact of the matter is the shit needs to be reported on. If you don't want to hear this type of stuff that we're reporting off, just don't listen to us. Other than that, the people that want to continue, we're glad to have you and glad that we can give you this information. Now, the following is from Detective Jill Jenkins from the Greenfield Police Department, and she swore and believes that she has good cause for the following.
Now, your affiant, Jill Jenkins, is employed as a detective sergeant with the Greenfield Police Department and currently assigned part-time to the Hamilton County Metro Child Exploitation Task Force. She's been a law enforcement officer since October 23, graduated from the academy, and started working in the investigation division in April of 2022. She's received training and participated in normal methods of investigations, of undercover operations, surveillance, the general questioning of suspects, victims, witnesses, and the execution of arrests and search warrants. She's assisted in cases involving internet crimes against children and participated in search warrant executions. Now, she is making this affidavit in support of an application for an arrest warrant for Erik Scott Reed for the following.
On March 12, 2024, she observed the National Center for Missing and Exploiting Children Cyber Tip Line Report 187 and a bunch of other numbers. It was submitted by Yahoo in reference to a user sending and receiving images of suspected child pornography. The user information provided in the report was for Stephanie Reeves, who was using the email kittygadet@blablabla.com. Now, the cyber tip line reported a total of 6 files that were child exploitation material. She reviewed the images associated with the report. The files associated in the report all contained child exploitation material as defined in the Indiana Code IC 354244. Below, she describes 4 images that pertain to the subject of this affidavit, Erik Scott Reed.
On December 27th, 2023 at 9:10 p.m., this email, ryobjunkie@yahoo.com, sent kittygadet@yahoo.com an email that contained child pornography. In that file, the image file depicts a topless young girl sitting on her knees with her arms bent back in front of some cabinets. The child's upper area was exposed, and she was wearing undergarments with multicolored hearts on them. They would estimate the age of the child to be between 9 and 11 years old based on her size.
The next file that was looked at, it was an image, and it depicts a little girl posing back on her hands and feet and a towel that is laying in the grass. The child is exposing her upper private area and uncovered lower private area. They estimated this child to be between 9 and years old based on her development and, the way she looked, basically.
On February 14th, 2024, at 12:49 a.m., the Ryobi Junkie email sent Kitty Gadet 2 separate emails that contained child pornography. Now, the first one, this image file depicts a nude female child sitting posed with her knees up. Her upper area and her lower area are visible. The background is all white. I would estimate her age to be approximately 9 to 11 years old based on her development and size. The second image depicts a nude early female child in front of a trailer. Her upper area and lower area are visible, and then they would estimate the child to be between 9 and 11 years old based on her size and looks and development.
On March 18th, 2024, she obtained search warrants for the Yahoo account Kitty Gadet at yahoo.com and Ryobi Junkie at yahoo.com. She reviewed the Yahoo return for Ryobi Junkie at yahoo.com. In the account, she located the following additional files that contained child exploitive material. The first file depicts a nude adult male sitting on a couch, basically trying to dummy this up for you. Basically, his shit was like ready to go, with an early aged female, fully clothed, sitting on the right of the nude male, gripping his private parts with her hand and doing some sexual stuff with him. They estimated that child to be between 9 and 11 years old. There's another one of the female sitting to the left of the male. The female is exposed from the waist up and just kissing the adult male. They said that the female is pubescent age, but the age is difficult to
tell.
To tell. Yeah, disgusting.
Now, that image file was emailed to Kitty Gadet at Yahoo on February 10th, 2024. The next image was an image file depicting a nude small girl laying posed with her legs open on a white blanket. Her private areas were exposed. I would estimate the age of this child to be 12 to 16 years old due to her size and development. Now, this image file was emailed to Kitty Gadet at yahoo.com on March 28, 2023 at 8:28 a.m. The next file is an image. It depicts a nude female child standing posed, brushing her hair. Her upper area and lower areas are exposed. I would estimate the age of the child to be between 12 to 16 years old due to her size. Now, this image file was emailed to Kitty Gadet at yahoo.com on February 25th, 2023.
Now, see, a lot of this people with Erik Reed, we've had a lot of people that was reaching out to us that were like, they were just completely shocked. They were blown away because there was quite a few people that knew this dude, and there was, they were thinking, there's no way he's involved in this. There's no way there's a mistake. Me and Julie had to go through quite a bit of a little treasure hunting thing even to get this information.
It was hard, and there's still nothing on my case or DocSpot. The last time I looked, his charges are not even on there. Why? I have no idea. But it was not easy to get this probable cause.
Now, on May 30th, 2024, members of the Hamilton County Metro Child Exploitation Task Force executed a search warrant in East Fountaintown, Indiana. Hamilton County Sheriff's Office Detective Lawrence Benzen and I conducted an interview with Stephanie Reeves. They told Stephanie Reeves her Miranda rights. Stephanie signed the form acknowledging that she understood her rights and agreed to speak with the law enforcement officials.
During the interview, Stephanie acknowledged that her email address was kittygadet@yahoo.com. Stephanie was asked who owned the account ryobijunkie@yahoo.com, and she advised that was her ex-boyfriend, Erik Reed, whom she still stays in contact with. Stephanie advised that he currently lives in Morristown with his 2 kids. Stephanie Reeves advised that Erik Reed has a Facebook account and provided his account information as Erik Reed.
Once Stephanie revealed the identity of the account, the detectives went back through the Yahoo return for Ryobi Junkie at Yahoo. The subscriber details for Ryobi Junkie were limited. The name on that account was Scott Doe. That must be John's cousin. No address, just a county, U.S. with a zip code. It did list a birthday as 1981-10-30 and a recovery email. The recovery email was BronxFan1998 at Yahoo and was verified on 2015-7/1 at 6:01. The subpoena returned for BronxFan1998 listed Erik Reed as the subscriber. It provided a city as Greenfield, Indiana, and another recovery email, read_Erik@yahoo.com, verified on March 25th, 2020. In the original Yahoo return for Ryobi Junkie, the detectives checked the contacts. There was a name listed as E with an email address 317-946-707 at mms@att.net and phone number of 317-948 redacted. I located a Cash App account that was associated with that phone number. The Cash App name was under ER and the account was #ER with some numbers. The Yahoo return also provided an IP address when logged in from the IP address. They located an email from a Stephanie Reeves account, kittygadet@yahoo, and they showed that she had sent an email from Ryobi Junkie at Yahoo on February 10th, 2024. The login time was the same time frame the email was sent. On June 7th, 2024, they received the subpoena returned back from Frontier Communications for the IP address, and it verified the following information.
That the account name was Erik Reed. It had his address, his physical address, a billing phone number, a contact phone number, another email address, Erik Reed, and some numbers at frontier.com, and then a different contact email, which was the Bronx Fan 1998. The length of service, he had started that account on May 9th of 2019 and used it up until present. And then it had his date of birth. During the investigation, it was learned that Erik Reed has a white 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander. The address on the registration matches the address where he was living. Now, on June 10th, 2024, a search warrant for Erik Reed's residence and person was obtained. On June 13th, 2024, detectives with the Hamilton County Metro Child Exploitation Task Force executed the search warrant in Morristown, Indiana. Erik Reed agreed to speak with detectives and was transported to the Morris Firetown station. Reed was read his Miranda rights. He signed the form and dated it and acknowledged that he understood his rights and agreed to speak with us.
Now, people, most of the time when we're talking about these probable cause affidavit, these are all accusations of evidence that the detectives have come to a reasonable, conclusion to. Now, during their conversation that Reed had with the detectives, here's a list of
statements he made.
These are actual statements that he admitted to, that he says that are true, which most of these, why would you say it if they wasn't true? Some of it's pretty shocking. We're going to start with A. He confirmed that the Bronx Fan email was his. B. He confirmed that the Erik Reed was his work email. When confronted, this is C. When confronted with that MCMEC is, and why we were talking to Reed stated that the kids were all online images. He confirmed the passcode on his phone. His phone was on the dresser, unsure of the brand, the detective said. Another phone was on the headboard or a side table. A Google tablet was in the living room.
Now, he also confirmed that Ryobi Junkie was his account for more than 5 years, that he knew Stephanie Reeves, that he did send pictures of younger girls. He admitted that the girls were early teens and unclothed. Early teens to him was 13 to 14 years old.
How early of a teen can you get? 13 is the first teen.
Yeah, exactly. 10, 11, 12 years old were allegedly the youngest that he said he had looked at. When asked if they were prepubescent, he stated, probably right at that age range.
He had stated that he was in his early 20s the first time he saw the images, and I think today the man's 43 years old, correct?
Yes, correct. So 23 years.
Reed stated that it was a curiosity. Well, he's been curious for 23 years. I mean, you're curious at 20, but this is 23 years later.
Now, Reed stated that he wanted to see what this was about and check it out. He's been checking it out for 23 years, I guess.
That goes past a little bit of curiosity.
Way beyond.
I mean, these poor children that he's exploiting and sending pictures of and looking at weren't even born 10 years ago.
Exactly. Now, he also stated that the last time he saw any type of images of children like that was earlier in the week, and it was a weekly struggle. He finds material on Telegram, which he says there's 3 to 5 groups on this app called Telegram that are sharing child pornography that he's a part of. Now, the material ranges from penetration material to solo material. Some of the material shared is very, very, very young, including, I don't even want to say this, infants, babies, probably under a year.
To teenagers.
Yes.
So, folks, that is really disturbing. I mean, who in their right mind
would want to look at something like that?
Anything like that, much less an infant. I mean, that has to take it to a whole nother level of just sheer idiocy. And hopefully it takes it to a whole nother level of charges. I mean, the younger the child, as we spoke about on another episode, the charge range does vary by age. If it's, I think it's from 18 to 16, from 16 to 14,
12,
something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Which absolutely it should be. It's all shitty, but the younger the child, the worse the crime is in my opinion.
Now, sometimes he said he would share images. Teenager stuff would be what he would share, mainly solo stuff. Reed stated that he tried not to share younger kid stuff, but probably has shared it. Reed claimed that Reeves has a, quote, daddy fetish, end quote. Reed claimed that Reeves would play the, quote, daughter, end quote. However, they would reverse roles. Reed claimed that Reeves would send teenager girl stuff. Reed claimed 2 to 3 images were sent on Facebook between Reed and Reeves. 2 to 3 times per week, Reed would look at images online.
Reed stated, I'm going to look at it, but I don't want to do it. That's probably what they all say when it's talking about child pornography. Would search Telegram for teen girls. Approximately 50 images are estimated by him to be on his phone. All images shown to be less than 18 years old. The images were ones that he had sent or were sent to him. He estimated some as young as 10 years old. After the items of evidence that were collected from the search warrant on June 13, 2024 were forensically downloaded, the detectives observed the following.
Now, this is evidence item number 34, and it's Reed's one of his devices. Now, there's multiple. The image depicts an adult female sitting undressed on a brown leather couch, gripping a juvenile male's private area with her right hand. The juvenile male is nude from the waist down, exposing his private areas. I would estimate the age of the male to be between 13 and 16 years of age. due to the male's size. Now, evidence item number 37, it's another device that Reed had. The image on this file depicts a nude, pubescent female laying back with her legs in an inappropriate position. Her top and lower areas are exposed, and they would estimate the age from probably 12 to 16 years old due to her development and things of that nature. And these were images from the Ryobi Junkie email.
We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, this is Chop from 69 South. Are you ready to elevate your space with aromas that'll set the pace? Scented Jewels, Indiana's pride, with aromas you can't hide. The classic wax melts, oh so fine, then squeezable melts, the scent so divine. Dazzle your senses and level up your vibe. Scented Jewels bring an aroma to your life. We use this in our studio and our home as we have teenage boys and pets. It makes our place smell so fine. Use promo code 69South for 10% off today. Shop Scented Jewels, luxury in every way. Head on over to Shop Scented Jewels. That is www.shopscentedjewels.com and get 10% off your order today. Thank you. There's another, the case number and when it was filed, and there's other images that were on devices, and I think you get the gist of it. It's basically the same stuff, just worded a little bit different, and they're, different children. The fact of the matter is, there's so many people that knew this man and were completely oblivious to his...
A wolf in sheep's clothing is
Absolutely.
What he was. Now, I do want to talk about these. There's two more images on this PCA, and I do want to talk about them because these image depicts two Greenfield Central cheerleaders posing for a picture at a high school track. These students have been identified as victim 1 and victim 2 at the time of this photo. Now, the juvenile female, victim 1, was 17 years of age and victim 2 was 16 years of age. And I believe that he was involved with something in the band or guard with the schools. So Erik Scott Reed is presently 43 years old. He is 6'2", 300 pounds. He's got brown eyes, brown hair. So he's a pretty big dude.
Big boy.
And by the accounts of everybody who's reached out and talked to us, they've told us that he was just like a big teddy bear. This is a complete double life. Like, people are sick. People who were best friends with this man for years are so disgusted and so floored. Like, this dude's been living a double life. And, when he's around his friends and his family, he's around their children too, and Lord knows what's running through his mind.
I mean, here at 69 South, we always want to give people the benefit of the doubt. And like I said earlier, there were so many people reaching out about this man. So we really had to find out, for ourselves what the facts are. And they found all these images on his devices, and all of the statements came straight from his mouth. I mean, so there's not much room for doubt there.
They gave him enough rope to hang himself.
Absolutely. I don't think he needed much.
The affidavit of probable cause is intended to show only that there's probable cause for the detention of Erik Scott Reed and does not set forth an entirety of your affianced knowledge about this matter. And that is the end of Erik Reed's PCA.
Now, coming up, we got a special interview with a special guest. In this course of this investigation with the Hamilton County Quartet, we were reached out to a very cool dude, in my opinion. He is going to be a special guest on the show. I'd like to welcome everybody, Chris from Epic. How are you doing today, my brother?
Doing awesome, man. Doing awesome.
Why don't you explain what Epic is and what you do?
So Epic stands for Exposing Predators of Innocent Children. So basically what we do is we try to combat the online adults against children. There's so many adults out here that are preying on our children online. If it's from, video games to Facebook to Snapchat to, anything that has a chat room, and there's, guys and women preying on our children. So we try to combat that, and we create profiles on different sites, and we don't go out and contact nobody. We just create profiles, and we use pictures that they're adults but they look young, and we tell them that we're underage.
Now, what inspired you to do this type of work, other than the obvious reasons?
I was abused when I was a kid, and I held it in until I was 33, 34 years old, and I was watching other groups do this, and I was like, man, I said, I got to do this.
Amen.
And since then, I put up my whole family on blast, including my father.
Wow.
Was that kind of hard for you to do, or was you just happy to get that off your chest and out there?
Not at all. I've been very vocal about, my family. I mean, there's a lot of child predators in my family, and their wives have helped cover it up, and I'm tired of it.
That's awful bold for you to do, man, to be honest with you. Now, I have had a chance to go to your Facebook page, and I've seen some of your live videos, and they are epic. I mean,
they are epic. They are amazing.
No pun intended, man. But if in the course of this, man, you learned that we were doing a story about the Quartet, and Erik was mentioned in that, and that's how you reached out to me about, and I wanted you to tell.
I seen your guys' post about Erik, and about a little over a year ago, he was a follower of mine. Plus, he was a follower of many other predator catchers. I had put a post up because I was looking for a guy in Shelbyville. Erik reached out and says, man, he said, I can help you out. He said, I know all about Shelbyville. I'm from there. He actually drove me around, showing me different places where this dude could have worked, and, where the dude might be a frequent flyer at, like the bars and all that. And then for me to see him on the news, I couldn't believe it.
You must have been shocked, man. This dude's driving you around, helping you catch people that's doing this shit. And in the meanwhile, he's probably over there logged into his phone, sending pictures of porn to other people.
I mean, I tell people all the time, you really don't know people. These women that are married to these men that I bust, man, they be like, oh, he would have never done that. And I'll have to go in and show them, like, hey, is this a picture of your bedroom? Is this a picture of your bed? Is this a picture of your husband's private parts on your bed? A wife's going to know that stuff. Is this your husband's phone number? It's him. He's the one messaging what he believes is a child.
And me and you have talked a little bit, and you kind of showed me one of the times that we had got together. Chris had picked up his phone. He said, just watch this chop, man. And he typed in, it was literally just a name. And I'm not even sure if you'd put the picture on it when me and you were looking at this. But I
didn't even have the picture uploaded on it yet.
You had put a name and a birth date, an age in there, and it was like a freaking swarm of bees. Like instantly, man, they were attacked. I mean, it was insane. The amount of time.
What you're talking about is grown men, not young teens going after these teens. These are grown men from 25 and up.
Trying to manipulate them poor girls.
What are some of the websites, man, that people should be aware of if they see these websites on their children's phones?
Anything that has a chat feature.
A chat feature.
Roblox, Minecraft. I mean, there's grown men in there, attacking our kids in there. They're telling our kids this sweet little nothing. And, our kids are smart, but they're very gullible.
As are most children, as we all were when we were children.
Curious.
So Minecraft, anything with a chat deal that you can talk on, these guys are swarming it like that.
Yeah.
Guys and gals, I'm not trying to be, whatever. But I mean, obviously, so most of what you deal with is men trying to
entice
Yeah,
young minors.
I mean, there's women out there. I mean, just like you see that teacher that you're doing the story on. I mean, the women's out there, but they're just a little more sneakier than the men.
That is just
And
crazy.
sometimes you'll get couples. Busted a couple out of Elwood, but he ended up taking the rap, saying it was him the whole time, which I know it wasn't, because I allowed my decoy to actually talk to her on the phone.
I gotta say, man, you're the thing you got going on is pretty cool. It gets me fired up just to watch it, and the adrenaline rush, man. When you're going out there, I mean, I've seen videos where it kind of looked like you were by yourself, and maybe you've only had one other dude. I mean, it takes balls, man, to go out there and meet these people, man. Is it?
Oh, dude.
How do you feel? I was actually watching one of your videos today, and I heard a big sigh, man, right before the dude walked up to you, like, here we go, man. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. These people probably on.
Oh yeah, I mean, you don't. I mean, I've had a guy pull knives out on me. Back then, this was a few years ago. He had pulled a knife out on me, and I posted his video on Facebook where we normally post, and then at that time I had YouTube, and I had somebody comment and say, "Oh, so and so's a convicted child predator now and a convicted murderer."
Wow.
And I had no idea that he was ever arrested for murder because it was in Florida.
Wow.
He did 20 years in prison for murder. And he would have got the death penalty, but the family didn't want to go through the penalty phase, so they allowed him to plead down to second-degree murder.
What's the feedback you get from law enforcement? Do you get good feedback from them, like, "Hey, man, we appreciate what you're doing," or are they like?
A lot of times, yes, but it's the prosecutors. Some of the prosecutors won't take cases, so then that ties law enforcement's hands.
So you'll come to them with all the evidence. You're having the prosecutors have what's their biggest thing that they say that they won't continue the charges for? I mean,
they accuse us of being vigilantes.
Even though you're 100% nonviolent, as I've seen, and you've made clear to me, you stay a certain amount of distance from them. You respect them. You just ask them questions. I mean, trying to figure out what's going on, and these prosecutors are still turning away the obvious charges you have against them because, I mean, what they're doing, contacting these decoys. I mean, if it was a real 14-year-old girl, what kind of charges would they be looking at for something like that? I mean, it's definitely. Go ahead.
It depends what all was in the conversation. If you send a nude picture of yourself to a child, the charge would be dissemination harmful to a minor. Mm-hmm. If you get sexual and you want to have sex with the child, then they can get you for child solicitation. So I got a couple ladies that allow me to use their pictures that live in other states, so we keep them safe. I can't talk like I'm a 12-year-old. I can talk like I'm a 15-year-old. So I try to stick around 14, 15 years old. Just because that's what I feel comfortable in talking as. I just don't think that I can get them to fall for me being 12. Now, there's other teams out here that can, and they do a great job at it. There's
been times here in the past since we've made contact with each other, instead of watching TV, man, I'll get on there and watch your videos. I mean, it's just, it's sad, but it's entertaining. Like, it draws you to, watch this shit. It's really enjoying to see you give it to them like you give it to them. I mean, dude, you're out there doing a good job, and these law enforcement and prosecutors that aren't giving you the props that you deserve. I'm gonna tell you from my heart, I appreciate what you're out here doing. You're putting your life on the line, man. I want you to take a second and tell people exactly what your Facebook thing is and where they can go check out some of your videos, and if they want to help you out, in your investigation in any way they can, shape or form.
Okay, so the best way to help us is share the video. And you can find those on Exposing Predators of Innocent Children, and it stands for EPIC on Facebook.
You're all over the state of Indiana. I've seen that.
We do Indiana, some Michigan, some Illinois. I've been to Kentucky, Ohio. I've been to Tennessee. The laws are a little bit different in Ohio and Tennessee. The law states for Ohio and Tennessee that it actually has to be a minor that they're talking to or law enforcement, which we're neither. Indiana, Michigan, and Illinois states that if they knowingly believe it's a minor. So me telling you that I'm 15 is good enough. If I tell you I'm 15, you better tell me to kick rocks.
Absolutely, as it should be. And the other states that you mentioned that are not like that, that's just giving these assholes a loophole, and that's making them not be scared of people like you that are out here catching these assholes.
Yeah, I had a guy come from Ohio. He came from Cincinnati. He drove about 2.5 hours to New Albany, Indiana, to pick up a girl in the middle of the night. And New Albany didn't even talk to him. The smaller the county, the more that they're going to take these cases. Like Indianapolis, they won't even touch them. I don't even call law enforcement anymore in Indianapolis because they just won't do anything because of our prosecutor.
And here again, even though Marion County, you don't call them, you're still out there exposing these people.
Yeah, so me and the girl that I used her pictures and my son was doing this with me until he got a job. We were confidential informants for a local police department in Marion County. And we got 2 arrests the first week. And if you go to my case, you won't find them 2 guys on my case at all. The prosecutor, when they were in jail, prosecutor went in there and dropped all charges and released them.
What was the reasoning for the charges being dropped?
They said that they didn't like the vigilante, but I was working with law enforcement. Instead of us going out here and playing basketball with our kids or riding bikes or, doing whatever, we give them a phone and we get them out of our way. I'm guilty of it. I've done it with my son, my nieces and nephews, and I feel bad for that. I did toy drives where we went and bought bicycles and give them out to kids because we wanted to get kids off the electronics and get them outside.
Amen.
I rode up in a Pizza Hut, last year, and the little dude was in there having a birthday party. Man, I had one of them hoverboard scooters brand new in my trunk. I went over and pulled his mom and dad to the side. I'm like, hey, can I give him a present? I didn't know this family. But, I wanted to get that kid outside and doing stuff. I think this summer I want to do something where we collect, basketballs and footballs, and we're just going to drive through random neighborhoods and just throw them out to the kids.
What is the best piece of advice you can give adults and parents to keep their kids safe in today's world of technology? And
check your kids' device and know what they're doing 24/7.
Amen.
I
completely agree.
Because these monsters are not walking through our front doors anymore. They're coming right through the air, through the signal. Your Wi-Fi signal, your cell phone signal. It ain't like before when it was, your uncle was just a little pervert. He was drinking, whatever. It's now we're handing these monsters to our kids. Kids think it could be other kids that they're talking to too, and that's why I say you got to know what your kid's doing.
Do you find mostly that that these predators are acting like other kids, or maybe just at first, or are they just basically saying, are they lying about their age, or are they acting like other kids? What do you mostly see there?
No, I mostly see them. They're portraying as themselves. That's like the guy that I just got in Columbus, Ohio. I found him in a teen chat room. But he was portraying to be himself, talking about, do you like older men? He didn't care. Come to find out, this is at least the 3rd time he's been caught.
Unbelievable.
So now,
his brother and sister was ready to whoop up on him.
Oh, I think I watched that video, actually. Was that the one in the Walmart parking lot?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Now, did you say...
I felt so bad for his brother. because they just lost their dad that morning, and he was still going to have this girl drive all the way to Ohio to meet him.
Even though his father had just died that morning, he was so drawn to this sick crime. It's got to be like an addiction to some of these dudes.
He's like, oh, you know, I made a mistake. No, it wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. You made a choice. You know, you got on that damn website. You could have told her, no, you're too young. Go get somebody your own age. But instead, it was, you know, he wants to jerk off every night to her. While he was at work at he was a little concierge. He was doing concierge service for a condominium company.
Oh, this was a super chomo jacket.
Yeah, where parents would be walking through with their kids.
Wow. Did I hear you say that he was already busted 3 times?
Well, if you go back and watch the interview with him, we wanted him to call his employer and tell his employer. He says, my employer already knows because it happened at my other job, too.
Oh, that's what he was talking about.
Then we found out that he was moving. His family shipped him off to Wisconsin. And one of his family members told me that it happened with his when he was in Wisconsin before. He was talking to somebody online and got caught.
Wow.
So there's strike 3.
Well, buddy, we appreciate you being on the show, man. We're going to have to wrap this episode up. Keep in touch with me, man. Like I said, I'd like to go on one of them rides with you. I'd really appreciate it. Now, everybody, I want you to
go follow Exposing Predators of Innocent Children and give our friend Chris a follow and tell him 69 South sent you.
That wraps up the interview for Chris from Epic.
That was so cool.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. We did get a chance to meet him, and we appreciate what he does here.
And this, probable cause affidavit wraps up the 4: April Brown, Stephanie Reeves, Anthony Straw, and Erik Reed. And we will keep you updated on what's going on with their court cases on our Facebook page, Podcast 69 South. And we also have a private Facebook group that you can join to get all the latest updates on all the cases that we're following. But until then,
we want you and wish you to have a good day, a good evening, whatever.